Good day, ladies and gentlemen. This is Watson Michael from Ceylon Institute of English and Leadership, and I'm honored to have Regina Louise, international author, child advocate, and motivational speaker, who is best known for successfully navigating through over 30 foster home placements. Also, she has been featured in the Lifetime movie I Am Somebody's Child, the Regina Louise Story. Also, she has received numerous awards for phenomenal work. Regina, welcome. And how are you doing today?
Oh, Watson Michael, thank you for having me. I am wonderful. Thank you.
It's an absolute honor to have you, Regina.
It's
So,
taken us a minute to get here, and I'm happy to be here with you.
yeah, absolutely. Yes. So, you are a part, you have been, you lived actually in over 30 foster homes and certain centers before the age of 18.
Mm,
Can you
yes.
elaborate the difficulties and challenges you face?
So the most important challenges I faced is how to hold on to myself when there was no one to hold on to me. As human beings, we mirror one another with mirroring neurons. And these neurons let us know what's okay, what's not okay, when we're okay, when we're not, when our behaviors are acceptable or bordering on unacceptable. So we learn who we are and how to be from the people around us, from our caregivers and our parents. I did not have parents, and my caregivers weren't sufficiently sufficiently rather resourced to meet my needs. So every part of my childhood was a challenge. The beginning, the middle, the ending. And even to this day, I experience fallout from the wake of not being chosen, from being orphaned, and from being left behind.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very touching and what you went through and how you overcame. I mean, it's a great thing. And you're an inspiration, especially you wrote three books and great books, actually. So, can you tell us about Gene Kerr
Right.
and how you got adopted after 3 decades?
Hmm. So when I was a young girl and I was in one of the orphanages, I came into the orphanage on my, I arrived at the orphanage on the eve of my 12th birthday. I didn't know it was my birthday. And the intake worker told me when she asked me
Mhm.
what day was I born, I told her May 2nd. And she
Yes.
said, "That's your birthday tomorrow." And that was Jean Kerr. And she would become a very powerful presence in my life in the short time that I was with
Mhm.
her when I was a child, 2 years off and on. She was in my life as a counselor at that orphanage.
Yeah, wow. And how you got adopted after 30 years,
Right,
the story.
right. I I saw a photo on the cover of Time magazine, and the photo was of the young girl who ran naked and her body was scorched from the bomb that was dropped on Hiroshima. And the journalist who took the photo and wrote her story, 25 years, 30 years later, he set out
Mhm.
to find her. I
Wow.
read that story of him setting out to find her. So I decided I would write my story to set out to find Jean. And
Mm.
that's how I found her, by writing about her, about the
Mm.
experience and what I remembered of her. And it began with me writing about it.
Wow. Okay. So, can you elaborate about a favorite chapter in your first book, Somebody, Someone, a memoir?
Mm, mm. So you want me to elaborate on the first chapter?
That's fine.
Yeah. Well, I think what's powerful,
Hmm.
Watson,
Yeah.
Michael, I think what is powerful is the power of belief, the power of
Mm.
believing in the human spirit, and the
Mm.
power of believing in what's possible. So in my
Yeah.
first book, I I remember writing, I was sitting down and
Mm.
I remember the words, careful not to
Mm.
disturb the raggedy screen door. Those were the first
Mm.
words out. And that barely kept the man-eating mosquitoes from tearing. Uh, I leaned into the frame and stared up at the sky. I could tell by the way the clouds moved that God was going to start crying soon. I mean, that was the first thing I ever wrote. And I remember when I found a editor, she loved it. She bought the book for uh, a very large six figure.
Mm.
And she said, I love this book. I love your
Mm.
voice. I didn't even know what a voice was.
Mm.
I didn't understand. She was like, I love your voice. Oh my God. I was like, what is that? What do you mean? I thought
Yeah.
she was talking about my singing voice.
Mm.
I, I
Yeah.
thought she was talking, I thought she was inferring that I had a lovely singing voice, but no,
Mm.
she referred to my writing voice. And the writing, Watson, Michael,
Mm-hmm.
is
Yeah.
that's what found Jean,
Mm.
because I wrote about her. I wrote a book, a full book about
Yeah.
her, really, about her kindness,
Mm.
about how I learned to make every scrap. It was just
Yeah.
crumbs, really.
Mm.
And how I made those crumbs last. But I got to tell you, the challenge with that is what it taught me
Mm.
is to settle for crumbs.
Yeah.
So I've spent the last 20 years of my life unlearning how to settle for crumbs.
Mm.
So it goes both ways. Yes, when I was a
Yeah.
little girl, she
Mm-hmm.
was there. She was there. She was kind. She was nice. But
Yeah.
I learned to settle for the littlest thing anybody would give me.
Mm.
So
Mm.
yeah, I had to
Yeah. I
grow
mean,
that up. The last 20 years, I've been learning to grow that part of myself up, because what can happen is when we settle for crumbs, when we believe that that is all we deserve, we repeat that in all the relationships in our lives. We repeat it at work.
mm.
We repeat it in relationship with ourselves. We repeat it in relationships with friends, with family. And we can end up being the people who do the most and get the very least.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, it's the small things in life that matters. Okay, and
Sure.
you're a very good example, Regina, because from what you went through and how you advocate and how you teach many great things. Okay,
Mm, thank you.
so yeah, sure, no problem. So the Lifetime movie in 2019 was
Yes.
released about your story. I'm
Yes.
somebody's child. The
Yes.
Regina Louise story.
Story. Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm, how much of the movie was true? Because before I get into that, I'll tell you. So I saw that movie and I was like, I was very emotional when I watched that
Yeah.
movie. And
Yes.
one of the best uh, parts in the movie was when I saw you finally in the movie. Okay, uh, when you got connected with
Yes.
Jean. So that
Yes.
was really nice. So how much was it
Right.
true?
Well, I did own three hair salons, so that's true.
Okay.
Uh, I went to college. I got
Mm-hmm.
myself into college. That was
Mm.
true. Okay. And just so you know, like in the movie, it suggests that I finished college. I did not finish college until 10 years ago,
Okay.
right? So
Yeah.
in my 50s. And and what's true? It's true that they kept the letters. It's true, but I did not get them the day
Mm.
I left. I got the letters 20 years later.
My goodness.
They came in the mail because I was beginning to write my book, and I
Mm.
said I want to find out if my memory is real, because
Mm.
when you live in over 30 foster homes and when you make no friends, none of those friends carry over. There's
Mm.
nobody. So there are no friends, there are no relatives, there's no one else to carry the memory of you. There was no one else to carry my memory. Everything I remembered, everything that was true, everything that was untrue, all of it lived in me. There was no one to ask. There was no one to pressure test. Do you remember? No one remembered me. No one had memories. No one had photos. It was as though I didn't exist. So I called the Department of Social Services and asked, I'd like my file. And they said, the day you called, today, your file had been pulled today to be destroyed because it had been
Oh,
20 plus years. And so they vetted the file and then they sent the file to me. And I got it. I think that the United States Department, oh my gosh, I might cry. Oof, I've never said this out loud, but wow. I think the United States Department of Human Services owes me an
mm.
apology. And I've
Mm.
never thought of that until this moment, because they cheated me out of a childhood. They cheated me out of an education. They cheated me out of how to be safe in the world. No skills. They just dumped me on the street. And I
Understand.
didn't think of it that way until right now. They owe me an apology. I think
Yes.
that's the dignified thing to do. And when I think, whew, I never expected this, Michael Watson. When I think
Yeah.
of all the young people who are
Mm.
put on the street and it's over,
Yeah.
I am very lucky. I'm very lucky because of God. I am lucky
Mm,
because of God. I am lucky because of spirit. I am lucky because I had parents who were very, very, very intelligent. And I may not have received their love and their acceptance,
mm,
but I received their intelligence. And
mm.
that's been a saving grace.
You're a great inspiration, Regina. Okay, so always respect for that, right? So, from your experience, what is your message to someone going through life challenges in life? Because some people today they don't know what is pressure. They don't know the value
Mm,
of money. They don't know what
right,
is affection.
right.
So, what is your message to them? Because you're someone who went through real challenges in life where you had many things going on.
Yeah, I'm going to think about that one for a second. Let me think about.
Yeah.
Uh, so I survived a lot.
Mhm.
Um, I think that it's important, Michael, for
Mhm.
everybody to know. It's important to know that as a person comprised of spirit and bone, heart and bone, possibility and heart, guts and grit and goodness. We are comprised and composed of possibility, failure, resilience, compassion, and forgiveness. And it's important to know anyone can survive what should have broken them. You can survive what should have broken you and still become the person, one, that you want to be, and two, that you want to return home to again and again and again. Self-love,
Mm.
which is really God's love within the self, and
Mm.
connecting to the bigger love that humanity is. There is a love bigger than you, bigger than me, bigger than any anything we can possibly imagine. That love is so big we can't even imagine it. That's why it's so big, because the
Mm.
idea of it is to be unimaginable. That's the mystery. But to imagine that no matter how hard it gets, you are bigger, you are deeper, you are kinder, you are more loving, you can become more compassionate and forgiving than anything meant to break you, right?
Yes, absolutely.
I will say this. 2 nights ago, I think I am a mildly successful person.
Mhm.
I love the written word. I'm not a celebrity or a
Mm.
superstar. I am just someone who believes in the power of one spirit triumphing over
Mm.
difficulty, to be
Yeah.
triumphant over difficulty. But 2 nights ago, I was having dinner, and
Okay.
I thought all of my friends, you know,
Yeah.
All of their parents are dying or have passed on. My
Mhm.
friends inherited homes, they've inherited financial resources. They they benefited from generational wealth. They've
Mm.
benefited from so much.
Yeah.
And what I recognize, and I have a lot of compassion
Mm.
for young people and for poor people and for middle
Mm.
class, working class people who do
Yeah.
not have that safety net. What I
Mm.
had to recognize is I will never benefit from generational wealth from my bloodline, from my family. I don't have a family other than my son, and I have a best friend. And
Mm.
2 nights ago, I cried a little bit for
Mhm.
the little girl in me who can
Mm.
finally say, they're not coming. Your
Mm.
family will never come for you. And it's at that moment 2 nights ago that I told myself, it's okay. I'm here.
Yeah. Yeah. The real word of motivation and how to go through challenges, Regina, which is amazing. And you
Mm,
continue to inspire people. So that is great. And just before we wrap up, any
yes.
final message to our viewers and listeners out there?
Any final, say it again. You broke up. Say it again.
Any final message to our viewers and listeners out there?
Within each of you is a light. And that light, to the degree that you are willing to believe it, to believe in it, that light will always guide you to what is right, what is ethical, what is loving, what is kind, what is compassionate. And it holds the possibility for each one of us to step into the power of forgiveness and to be grateful, to use the genius and the wisdom of gratitude to begin and end every day of your life. And if we all ascribe to that, we will all do the best we can with what we actually have. It's not about billion. I work with billionaires and millionaires. I work with
Mm.
dog walkers. I work with people who can't afford me. Okay? They can't afford the
Yeah.
service. But
Mm.
what they all have in common is that light.
Wow. Really inspirational. Regina, thank you very much
Thank you.
for taking time and doing this podcast with us.
And Watson Michael, I would like
Yeah.
to thank you for your commitment and your
Thank you very much.
patience. I think you are a splendid human being and many, many graces bestowed upon you in your spirit.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
All right, until next time. Bye.
Absolutely.
Okay, bye.
Bye.